Hello, everybody. You're listening to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. That's me. Thank you for listening to me today and giving me just a little slice of your time. You know that I appreciate you. Got a lot to talk about. When don't we have a lot to talk about? Obviously, got to talk about Kobe Bryant, his final game as a Los Angeles Laker and as an NBA player. And it was glory, right? It was the thing that you wanted to see out of Kobe's last game. All right, it went a whole lot better than Peyton Manning's last game in some ways. Like, Peyton didn't play well, but he got the Super Bowl, and I think he'll take that ring over personal stats for sure. With Kobe didn't play in a game that meant anything for his final game, but he looked like vintage Kobe in so many regards. And so we're going to talk about that, break that down a little bit. Also, blockbuster NFL trade alert. The Tennessee Titans have made a trade with the LA Rams, and it is a big one. So we'll talk about that too. But before we jump into all of that, let's just talk quickly about the platforms. Where can you find us? And where can we find you? Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. I highly recommend those places. Those are the places that you ought to be looking if you want to find us. And they're not hard because you're already there. Search Hot News Talk Radio. We're the first thing that comes up. We'd love to hear from you. Join the conversation. If you want to listen to Hot News Talk Radio, this is nice because there's a number of ways that you can do that, right? You can go to YouTube and stream the show that we have up live every single day. Our local hosts put up shows, and you can see what we look like. You can check out our older classic episodes. We don't like to call them old, and much more. Comment, leave us a comment, and like I said, join the conversation. You can also go to hotnewstalkradio.com, where we stream 247, 365, and all of our programs are on there, whether it's this show, The Herd with Colin Cowherd, and many more. You can check all of those out on hotnewstalkradio.com and in the TuneIn Radio app, which is free in your favorite app store. Simply download the TuneIn Radio app, search for Hot News Talk Radio, favorite us, and you'll have Hot News Talk Radio everywhere you go. There's no need for you to be stuck in your car waiting for Mr. Tulis to finish a thought that you find fascinating and interesting. That ever happened to you? You're driving, you get home, but what's on the radio is super interesting, and so you're just stuck in the car. That happens to me all the time. Like, literally, I'll just spend the rest of that segment in the car listening to whatever it is. You don't have to do that anymore. The TuneIn Radio app. Just take it with you. Take it with you to work, take it home, whatever you got to do. So that's how you can find us and how we can find you. The thing that I want to talk the most about today was going to be Kobe Bryant's final game. But the Rams and the Titans kind of upset everything with their blockbuster trade that actually did go down last night. But they chose not to release the details of that trade because they didn't want to steal the thunder of one Kobe Bryant. So I've heard a lot of theories about the Rams and the Titans making this trade. Obviously, if you just look at this trade on paper and look historically at how trades like this have gone, the Titans won this trade. Just straight up, I think it's both for good for both sides, but the Titans straight up on paper, as of this moment with what we know, the Titans won this trade. Now, we had heard rumors before about them being interested in trading the number one pick and that they wanted a king's ransom for that pick. Okay, in terms of compensation, they weren't just going to give the number one pick away. Well, they found something that they find to be quite acceptable, and I find it to be more than acceptable. So here's how this trade goes. The Los Angeles Rams, the newly minted Los Angeles Rams, now playing in the Coliseum, will get the number one overall pick from the Tennessee Titans. They will also get a fourth rounder and a sixth rounder. In exchange, the Titans get the Rams' number 15 pick, bumping them back in the first round of this year's draft, and 2 second-rounders from this draft, the 43rd and 45th pick, and a 3rd-rounder from this draft, and a 1st-rounder for next year, and a 3rd-rounder for next year. So, obviously, you're a Titans fan. You'll be watching the Rams this season and actively rooting for them to lose. And you're the Rams. You think that you found your guy, right? You don't jump up in the draft in the modern NFL for anybody that's not a quarterback. Okay, you jump up in that draft for a QB because that's the only position on the field that can warp a franchise. And I heard a lot of people criticizing the Rams today. I heard Jason Whitlock, who was hosting Colin Cowherd's show, filling in for Colin, ripping the Rams today. First off, me and Jason Whitlock never agree. Like, we're just going to oppose each other on every single front always. It's just, I think that's just how it's meant to be. We're star-crossed like that to disagree till the ends of time, because I just didn't like his analysis of that situation, which is just, you don't like the talent at quarterback in this NFL. And by the way, I think everybody's wrong about this. You don't like the talent at quarterback. None of these guys can come in and start right away, so you don't jump up in the draft to take a quarterback. And I think that that's the incorrect way of looking at this. It has to be, because look at the quarterbacks that have been drafted in the past few years. It hasn't been pretty. Okay? Now, the 1st round picks from a season ago, that was Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota. Okay? That story's still being written. We don't know at all how that story is going to go. But you go even further back, and you're going to find a list of quarterbacks. It's not good. Like, you just guys that we thought could start right away. Okay, I thought, you look at the body of an EJ Manuel, who was taken before then, and you're looking at him, and you're like, okay, mentally this guy might not be able to start right away, but he's got all of the physical tools. If you put him in, you shouldn't be dead. But that's exactly what happened. Like, EJ Manuel's not good enough. Okay, and you can do this going back with a number of quarterbacks. Jamarcus Russell is one, and it's been like every year. Like, I'm not cherry picking here. Let me pull it up for you. Let me pull it up for you and show you here. Okay, last year was Winston and Mariota. If you go back, Blake Bortles was the first quarterback taken there. Obviously, the Jaguars expected him to start from day one, and he hasn't really disappointed. Like, Bortles has looked really, really good. He didn't actually start day one, but when he came in, he was spectacular. Johnny Manziel was a quarterback taken in the 1st round. Nope. Teddy Bridgewater, he's going to be solid. But and he was the guy that you did think just mentally he had the tools to start. But you go back, EJ Manuel, nope. Geno Smith, nope. Mike Glennon, nope. Matt Barkley, no. Jump back even further. Andrew Luck was ready to start right away. We thought maybe RG3 might be that guy for the Redskins. He was not. Ryan Tannehill, nope. Brandon Weeden, nope. And you go down there, you have to get to the 2nd round before you run into Brock Osweiler, who didn't start right away. But look at what he did while he was in Denver, and look how much faith the Houston Texans have in him. You go further back, Cam Newton, we thought was ready to start right away, but Jake Locker, no. Blaine Gabbert, no. Christian Ponder, no. And then Andy Dalton, who we didn't think was going to lead a team, and he didn't have to. He managed the Bengals. He managed them. You go back the next year, 2010, Sam Bradford. That we thought he was ready, he wasn't. Tim Tebow definitely wasn't ready. Jimmy Clausen, no. McCoy, no. Mike Kafka. Jump back to 2009, and I could keep going back and back and back. Like, Matt Stafford was ready to go, but Mark Sanchez wasn't, and Josh Freeman turned out to be a colossal bust. What I'm saying is, maybe we need to start changing the way we think about the quarterback position. The NFL has changed the rules so much that here's what happens. You're asking these guys to come out of college and do way more passing than anybody has ever done in the history of the game. We talked yesterday about how Andrew Luck has thrown 55 interceptions in 55 starts, which he actually has a pretty good interception ratio. He throws 1 every 38 passes. The problem being is that he throws 38 passes a game. So he's going to have at least an interception a game. Okay? And so we're asking quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, to do more than they have ever been asked to do in the history of the game. Maybe it's time to stop drafting guys that we think are going to be ready to play right away and start drafting guys that we can develop long term. And that the value of having a quarterback that can be developed long term is just fine. Look at the quarterbacks that have been developed long term, though. Like, look and see Aaron Rodgers, who did not start right away. And what did he turn out to be? Pretty amazing. Okay? It's easy to discount a Colin Kaepernick, but he didn't start right away. Russell Wilson wasn't going to start right away. When you have quarterbacks that you develop on your team, because Colin Kaepernick, we're not sure where he's going to be right now, but you can bet when he came out and just started throwing touchdowns and basically taking over the league like gangbusters, we thought he was good. This was a guy that almost won a Super Bowl. Colin Kaepernick almost won a Super Bowl. So you have guys that if you take the time to develop them, Brock Osweiler, we're seeing the fruits of that now, and hopefully that pans out for the Texans. So you're looking at this and going, well, we're asking guys to do more than they've ever done. Maybe the value in a guy is not a guy that can start right away, but a guy that can start for longer than 10 years. And that might take some time just training him on the bench, making it worth the while for the Rams to go up and get a Jared Goff, making it worth the while for the Rams to go up and try and take their shot at a Carson Wentz. Though the rumors are that they're leading towards Goff, and I like Goff. I like him a lot. I think that is a very smart decision. I still don't think that they should start him right away. I understand you're moving to LA. This is your first season in Los Angeles. You want to make the big splash, make the big glitzy draft pick. And I think that Jared Goff will do that for you. I don't think that you need to start him immediately. I think that he needs time to develop. But drafting a guy number 1 overall that needs time to develop, if he's going to be the cornerstone of your franchise for the next 15 years, it's okay. We have to start doing this whole quarterback thing differently, because very frequently, if you're just looking at the list, you're wrong. You're wrong, and you're wrong often. For goodness sakes, the Redskins drafted 2 quarterbacks in 2012, Robert Griffin III and Kirk Cousins, not realizing that Kirk Cousins would ultimately be their guy. We're doing this quarterback thing wrong. The guy that sat down and developed turned out to be the starter of the team long term. So I don't like that argument over there for the Rams. I think the Rams are doing just fine with this trade. I still think that the Titans come out on top, though. And you're listening to AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. We're talking about the Rams-Titans trade. We talked about the Rams side a little bit, which I think is the more fun side because of all the drama around it. I think the Titans are coming out so much better in this trade that there's not a whole lot of drama around it, right? All that the Titans get is more picks to give Marcus Mariota more weapons. This is not a bad thing. This cannot be a bad thing. Straight up, this is the best thing that could have happened to the Titans right here. And they could still take a very talented left tackle. Okay, they were looking at, and a lot of the mock drafts had them taking Laramie Tunsil of Mississippi if they had stayed at number 1. But now that they've dropped back down to 15, there's still talented players down there for them to take. Okay, they've got Ronnie Stanley from Notre Dame. This is a guy that I really think that they could possibly pick up. There was a user on Reddit. His name is User Super Famous Guy. He did a lot of breakdowns on this. And I think that he did a really good job, just giving some credit to him. Ronnie Stanley, if you want to still draft a left tackle, long arms, explosive off the ball, strong, great feet, you can take Ronnie Stanley, and you really don't miss a beat there. You end up beefing up the offensive line, which you have to do for Mariota, because Mariota got injured last season, and his big injury didn't come when he was running. He was in the pocket. So you're going to have to protect this guy and keep him upright. But you get Stanley with the 15 pick, or you could go defense, because that's a position of need as well, especially in the secondary. And Florida fans may be aware of Vernon Hargreaves III. That man, he's a hawk. Okay? His frame is a little lean. He's not very big. He doesn't have the elite speed, but neither does Darrelle Revis. So, I mean, you don't need elite speed to play corner, but he's got an eye for the ball. He's got good hands for a defensive back, and he's not just making interceptions that are lobs, like the bad quarterback throws. Like, he's actually playing the ball and beating the receiver to the spot and picking off passes. And so they're going to get this talent around Mariota faster. I really like that for the Titans. I think there's no way they really don't come ahead in this pick, because you can still get talent in this draft backing up, and you pick up more draft picks in this draft, and you get the Rams first rounder of next season as well. What makes this trade super interesting is that the Rams were on the other side of a trade that looked exactly like this one. When the Redskins got Robert Griffin III, they gave up a boatload of picks to get RG3 from the Rams. So if anyone knows the cautionary tale of not giving up way too much picks for a quarterback that doesn't ultimately pan out, it's the Rams. So they must really, really, really like Jared Goff, or, as the other people are saying, they want to make a splash moving into LA. But I think that that's a ridiculous way to think about it. Like, I understand the PR guys get in there and say, hey, take this guy, try and get something for the season ticket holders. Like, I understand that that's a thing that happens. What I don't think is a thing that happens is that the coaches and the GMs are going to give up all of their picks to do it. Because those guys get fired if this doesn't work out. Okay? These guys lose their jobs if they jump up for Goff and then Goff doesn't pan out. So I have trouble believing that that's the only reason why they did it. Like, the PR guys leaned on them. I think they really do like Jared Goff. And I think that they don't mind developing him. Now, I think if they go out there and force him into a starting role before he's ready, that's a mistake. But I don't have a problem with what they chose to do there. You're listening to AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. Make sure to go to Five Guys Burgers and Fries and register for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series contest that we're having. You have an opportunity to win $124 in cash and $124 in Five Guys food. And I told you about their burgers. They're fantastic. If I had $124, I would spend it on Five Guys burgers. You get $124 in cash and food. That's a total value of $248 collectively. Just guess the first, second, and third place winners of the Sprint Cup Series race coming up this weekend for your chance to win, and then tune into Hot News Talk Radio to find out how you're doing. See, I'm giving you free money. Okay? Tell your friends, or don't tell your friends if you want to keep the odds low to yourself, I suppose, but there's an opportunity to win some free cash. So what are you doing? Get out there and register for the 1, 2, 3 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series challenge that we have going here at Hot News Talk Radio. So I want to talk about Kobe Bryant, because what he did yesterday was amazing, and he took 50 shots to score 60 points, which is the most Kobe Bryant thing ever. Like, that stat line of Kobe Bryant's, the 6 of 21 from 3, the 17 of, or what was it, 20-something, 21 shots of 50 to get to 60 points. That is the most Kobe stat line ever. In fact, that game last night was the most Kobe Bryant game I've ever seen. And I've watched Kobe Bryant in every finals he's ever played in. That was the most Kobe Bryant performance that Kobe Bryant has ever given. And it was glorious. So we'll talk a little bit more about that coming up around the corner, and how that night compares to what the Warriors did. 73-9 is their record at the end of the season, allowing them to beat the Chicago Bulls 72-10 record that they set back in the 95-96 season with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Steve Kerr, and that championship squad for what was Michael Jordan's last title as a pro. So there's a whole lot of parallels going on in there. I'm super interested and excited in it, and I really want to cross the two storylines, because I think there's an intersection there that we're not particularly fully exploring. What I want to talk about a little bit more is is this whole draft day situation, because we do this thing where we build up these draft scenarios, and this trade, if anything, has just shown us that, like, what is the point of doing mock drafts? We are all going to be wrong, right? Draft day is going to come around. It's like a week from now, and we're just going to be wrong. You're listening to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. We're going to be talking about more of the Titans, Kobe Bryant, Steph Curry, and the Warriors. History being made. Next on Clutch with Keon Rose.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240. Finding just the right place to live can be a daunting task. Stop your search. In Chattanooga, the place to live is Cross Creek Villas for under $1,000 and available for immediate move-in. You can enjoy this 2-bedroom split layout, over 1,000 square feet, 9-foot ceilings, an extra-large patio or balcony. And don't forget to ask about their preferred employer program. Cross Creek Villas is a gated community, offering a 24-hour fitness facility, a beautiful pool and hot tub. And Cross Creek Villas is pet-friendly. Stroll the pet park with your best friend and enjoy the free use of their business center and clubhouse. Plus, if you mention you heard this on the radio, your application fee is free. Cross Creek Villas, close to downtown off of Highway 58. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com. That's crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. That's 894-0446. Redefine the way you live at Cross Creek Villas. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. Cross Creek Villas. Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds has got on his sunglasses. He's buying so many glittering diamonds today, he's almost going blind looking at the haul. Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, come on in today. He'll give you top dollar on a sparkling field of diamonds, an ocean of value that he wants to convert into cash for you. Come on in today, sell your diamonds. You'll get the biggest wad of dollars anywhere for your gleaming diamond. Rick Diamonds Gold and Diamonds. Rick wants to meet you in person today. Diamonds, Rick loves them. He'll take your diamonds and gold and you'll walk out with ready-made money in your pocket. Hundreds, 50s, 20s, and $10 bills. Cash, cash, cash at Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. Rick Davis, Brainerd Road near Eastgate Town Center. Cash, 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 and more cash.
Expect mostly cloudy skies for the nighttime. Can't rule out a stray shower. Most of it staying dry. Lows 49 to 51. For your Friday, some clouds, but not bad. Mainly dry highs, mid and upper 60s with more sunshine and warmer weather for the weekend. Get ready for the 20th Annual National Cornbread Festival, April 23rd and 24th in South Pittsburgh, featuring live music, arts and crafts, food, and much more. For details, their website, nationalcornbread.com. And I'm Sourcine 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
When the weather turns bad, turn to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. On the net, hotnewstalkradio.com. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. From the Hot News Talk Radio Weather Center. Chattanooga, we've got you covered. When the weather turns bad, the Tennessee Valley turns to Hot News Talk Radio.
Go, 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 go.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Hi, I'm Adam Disco, the owner and the head surgeon of Cell Surgeon. Broken screen? You need it repaired now. We can do that. We'll have your phone repaired within the hour. No hassle, no mess, no stress. We love fixing cell phones. Your cell phone has become part of your daily activities. You've noticed your cell phone is not charging properly. It could be a charge port issue or your charger. Come in for free. We'll test your phone and your charger. You have an expensive phone. Don't feed it with a cheap charger. A cheap charger can actually damage your device. Our high-quality chargers are affordable. Cell Surgeon, 140 Northgate Mall Drive, right next to Old Chicago Pizza. 423-668-0100. www.thecellsurgeon.com. Please like us on Facebook at facebook.com/thecellsurgeon.
Get $10 off a screen repair. Mention Hot News Talk Radio. Broken screen, phone not charging, water damage, battery given out, Cell Surgeon in Northgate Mall next to Old Chicago Pizza. Check us out on Facebook. Open Sunday. Cell Surgeon. We bring your phone back to life.
Hot News Talk 1240.
So a top SEC corner failed his drug test at the NFL Combine. I was just reading the report. He failed his drug test at the NFL Combine. And if you recall the person I was just talking about Vernon Hargraves III as an option for the Titans to take. The rumor on the street is it's him. Right? Scuttlebutt around the league is it's him. He's the guy that failed the drug test. And so that's something to be aware of and to be wary of. And maybe you just take the tackle because, I don't know, I don't trust guys that fail drug tests that they know are coming. Okay? Everybody makes mistakes. If you're using drugs and you fail a drug test, that's still not good. But I'm not going to kill you for it, right? Like, I'm not going to stand here and go, you shouldn't have ever done that, or you know. But, like, this is just an intelligence thing. This isn't about whether you use drugs or don't use drugs or whether using drugs makes you stupid. Just if you know the drug test is coming, stop it, okay? Especially since the drug is rumored to be marijuana. That's like out of your system in like 3 weeks. Just stop smoking it for like a month. Stop smoking it for like a month. Get through the NFL Combine. Resume your activities. What are you doing? Like, the thing about the NFL drug testing policy, especially when it comes to stuff like weed, okay, because I've heard rumors around the league that, like, guys smoke weed. Like, everybody smokes weed, which to me makes a ton of sense because football is such a painful game. You just like, how are you supposed to deal with that pain on a regular basis without medicating yourself into oblivion? Well, weed helps. Right? You could do that or painkillers, and trust me, I mean, painkillers are worse. The painkillers will take your liver out. So, yeah, I don't blame anybody for going to weed for that, and I'm not for or against it either way. But what I am saying is I'm looking at this and going, everybody knows when the NFL screens for this stuff. They do random drug tests. But that's their steroid test mostly. That's their HGH test. They do the random drug test. But for marijuana, everybody knows when that one is coming. They do one test, and then they leave you alone for the rest of the summer. Nod, nod, wink, wink. You shouldn't get caught. Not with weed. Not in the NFL. And with the NFL Combine, like, of course they do a drug test. They want to know everything about you. For goodness sakes, they make you strip down to your underwear. How on earth are you getting caught with this stuff, man? What makes me worried is that's just showing bad intelligence because you knew the drug test was coming. That's where it's stupid to me. Drugs as a whole, stupid to take, right? But when you know the drug test is coming, man, they can't catch you with that. What's happening? Really? You're listening to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. That's me. Thank you for listening and giving me just a small piece of your day. You know that I appreciate you. I'm reading things about Kobe Bryant. I watched like, first off, technology is amazing. Me and my brother and my girlfriend, she's a Warriors fan. So we had to watch the Warriors try and break the record. My brother's a Lakers fan. So we had to watch Kobe's last game, and we had like one computer, and we were switching back and forth between the games. And we thought, like the Warriors game was the game to watch early, which is exactly what happened, right? Like the Lakers and Jazz started playing this sport that looked vaguely like basketball, but was too terrible to actually call basketball. So we changed away from that one and went to go see the Warriors. Steph Curry drops 20 points in the first quarter. The game just gets out of hand really, really fast. That was the game that you wanted to see in the first half when you were like, okay, the only question here in this game is, do the Warriors cover? It's not about whether or not they win and get this record, because they came out on a mission and just smashed Memphis to pieces. albeit that Memphis has like 5 guys on 10-day contracts because their entire team's injured. But they came out on a mission and just raked the Grizzlies over the coals, just mauled them, right? So we jump over to the Laker game where the Lakers have been trailing this entire game. There's nothing really to watch here. And then something happened that hasn't really happened in like 3 years. Kobe Bryant starts heating up. And he's not stopping. And all of his teammates just kept shoveling him the ball. They were just like, shoot. Tonight is your night. You take all the shots. And that is exactly what he did. Kobe started firing away. He took 50 shots, which is the most shots ever attempted in a game by anyone ever. Whose record did Kobe break? Michael Jordan's of 49 shots. And whose record did Michael Jordan break before Kobe broke that record? Also Kobe. Kobe is in the top 5 most shot attempts in a single game taken. Kobe is in just all of them, okay? So it got me to thinking, Kobe Bryant, who's played basketball for 20 years, has seen the NBA change eras. When he was drafted back in 1996, the Chicago Bulls got the 72-10 record, best NBA single season record. And in Kobe's final game ever, it got broken. So Kobe's seen the eras change, right? Basketball is different from when he came into the league. When Kobe Bryant came into the league, a lot of isolation basketball got played. You gave the ball to your best guy and then just got the hell out of the way, man. Everybody just got up out the way. That was how you played it, especially in crunch time, especially in the fourth quarter. Game's on the line, you give it to Jordan, and you move, okay? Like before Phil Jackson came in and instituted the triangle offense in Chicago, Doug Collins coached that team, and Doug Collins said that was the play. You know the shot that beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Michael Jordan rising up and hitting that shot over Craig Elo. Well, guess what? That was the play. Give the ball to Jordan, everybody else get out of the way. Used to play basketball like that. Now we've got more analytics. You've got to play with some kind of motion concept. Even if you give the ball to one guy and ISO a lot, like the Rockets do with James Harden, you still have to move the ball on some level. Like James Harden, when he drives to the basket, he's driving to collapse the defense and kick the ball out. You don't see a whole lot of this. Let's just ISO and see what happens. Just let the best guy do what they do. Back in an era when Kobe and Jordan and Iverson and Paul Pierce and even Antoine Walker and Gilbert Arenas reigned supreme. That was the game. They just took it over. And so it was interesting to see the Warriors breaking the Bulls record with this new era of basketball that we're in. And rule changes don't start overnight, right? Like the Warriors didn't just change the NBA. That change goes back to Mike D'Antoni and those Phoenix Suns teams when they were just like, you know what? Forget defense. What we're going to do is shoot a lot of threes and pass a lot. And that's what they did. And they paved the way for the way the NBA looks now. And you don't have that give the ball to your best guy and get out of the way. And it's funny because that's the same thing that we criticize LeBron James for a lot, is that LeBron James gets the ball, but he's not asking everybody else to get out of the way because he might pass it to you. You need to pay attention because LeBron James might draw the double team, and unlike Kobe, who will take a shot with 3 guys draping off him, LeBron might actually pass it to you. And we don't like that. We were just not used to that. We were not ready for that. But then basketball started changing. And it's interesting because Kobe's last night as a basketball player, Kobe did it the way that we don't think ought to work anymore. It shouldn't work anymore. And Kobe was out there killing it with an isolation style of basketball that didn't seem like it was going to work anymore. And I'm a stats guy. I like to look at the numbers and see. And a lot of people are like, forget the numbers. What Kobe did was glorious. It's not about the numbers. I think the numbers make this even more spectacular because what Kobe Bryant did, we don't allow to happen in the league anymore. because by and large, it doesn't work. You can't just give the ball to your best player, have him take 50 shots, and expect to win any game against anybody. Not the Jazz, not the Timberwolves, not the Sixers, nobody. And that's what happened. They won a game using a style of basketball that, quite frankly, you might as well be playing with stones. That's a caveman style of basketball, the way we use the numbers and the analytics now. They've got all of these sensors in the ceiling of most NBA stadiums. They can track the speed of players moving. They can gauge the distance. Computers are calculating to what percentage do you have the highest success. Is it with the pick and roll or is it with the pick and pop? And you're just looking at this stuff and going like, these numbers just make your head spin. There's so much to pay attention to. And then the Lakers last night just go with the play that should be analytically unsound, which is just give the ball to Kobe and let him shoot. And you did it with the Kobe that's 40, okay? Like, Kobe got down the lane, and everybody was surprised. Even Kobe was surprised. Like, there were a few times he jumped up like, I might be able to dunk this, and realized, you know what, I'm not going to be able to dunk this, and just laid it up. He just didn't have the legs that he used to have. Like Kobe, the reason why Kobe has been so effective is this quote-unquote caveman style of playing basketball. When he was more athletic, that really wasn't a stoppable thing. That really wasn't something you could just shut down. Like, just take Kobe away from a basketball game. You couldn't. Not when he was more athletic. Okay? And it's funny to me because this game looked a lot like that Toronto Raptors game where he scored 81 points. People forget that in that game against the Raptors, the Lakers were trailing for a lot of that game too. Like, for 75% of that game, the Lakers were behind. They didn't lead until the fourth quarter. And Kobe Bryant scored 81 points. They just kept giving it to Kobe. He just kept firing up. And he was just on fire. And last night, in the second half of that game, he looked exactly like that. There were shots that he would rise up and shoot it, and you just knew, like, wow, this one's going in. You knew it before he let it go. And I understand that's what was so appealing. I think, and this is how I'm going to bring this back around to the Warriors, I think part of the rebellion against the way that the Warriors play basketball, even though Steph Curry is fantastic and is not, like, Steph Curry has taken over games in a similar fashion, but it's more satisfying to see Kobe bring the ball up across half court, back somebody down, hit whoever it is that's defending him. I think it was Gordon Hayward last night with the dream shake into a step back fadeaway jumper and just nail it. So that is somehow more satisfying. Like, hero ball, despite the fact that it's not the best way to play basketball, despite the fact that that was criticized before analytics. Like, Kobe Bryant doesn't pass. He shoots too much. I mean, that's been a criticism of Kobe even before analytics. The analytics didn't make that a new criticism. It's weird, but that's somehow more satisfying. And I think that that's the reason why guys like Derrick Rose and James Harden are having as much trouble as they are. Like, part of it is that Derrick Rose has lost a step, but there's no reason why a guy who was once the MVP of the league can't seem to play the game at anywhere near half of that level. And every now and then you'll see a flash, and you'll see a flash. But they're having trouble because the league doesn't work like that anymore. You got to move the ball. Your team has got to move the ball, or you're not going to be going to the finals anytime soon. Like, you can make it to the playoffs. Yeah, you could probably have a decent run. But you want to win a title? No, you move that ball. We saw the Spurs eviscerate the Miami Heat, 3 years ago now? And part of that is how the Spurs played that game. They did it in a way that embodied this new look of basketball. Okay, and what Kobe Bryant did was like the ultimate throwback for your eyes. It's everything you like about sports. It's everything that you used to like about basketball. And it's everything that you respected Kobe Bryant for wrapped into one game. Okay? And now me, I'm not a big crier. It's AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. We're talking about Kobe Bryant's last game. I'm not a big crier, okay? But there are sports events that I have cried for, okay? Like, for instance, I grew up a Yankees fan, and in 2004, when the Yankees absolutely collapsed in front of my eyes, I cried. Like, I didn't understand what I was seeing, how a team could go up 3-0 in a 7-game playoff series and lose 4 games before they won a single other one. I didn't understand that. I still don't understand that. That broke me. That really broke me up. When Peyton Manning left the Colts, that I didn't cry for that, but that was like, oh, the tear ducts are open though. The tears are definitely available. I'm not going to say here I cried, but like it could have happened. It was close. Then Peyton Manning actually retired, and it happened again. Just someone kept cutting onions underneath me. I didn't know what happened. You know, it's there are moments, and also part of it too is that you're reflecting on your own mortality. Like, I've watched Kobe Bryant's entire NBA career. There's nothing that's going to make you feel older than that. I watched Peyton Manning's entire NFL career. You have to sit back and reason with that one. Like, Brett Favre retired, and I saw a lot of Brett Favre. But when Brett Favre got drafted into the league, like, I didn't see the whole thing. Brett Favre got drafted in 1992, I think. I was 2. I mean, I didn't see the whole thing. I was 6 when Kobe got drafted. I was 8 when Peyton got drafted. Like, I saw the whole thing. And now I'm in my mid-20s, and I'm really starting to feel that mortality. Like, I really am. Nothing makes you feel older than Kobe Bryant talking about events that happened in what feels like ancient history that you sat down and watched. Right? Like, Peyton Manning is talking about his time at Tennessee over 22 years ago. Like, I saw a game. Like, I saw the thing that he's talking about, but he's making it sound like it's ancient history, and it is. So I got to come to grips with all of that. Nothing makes you feel your mortality more than sports do. I can tell you that one. You're listening to AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. And the Titans pulled off a blockbuster trade today. And I'm excited about the future, not even just of the Titans, okay? Because I am a guy that I like to see things change. I like to see change in the NFL, and I like to see change in the NBA and in college basketball and in college football. Like, I like the change. Like, college basketball, or check that, college football is so much more pass happy now than it ever used to be, and I like that. Maybe it's just me, but touchdowns through the air are exciting. And even in the SEC, where we're like, oh yeah, we're all about defense. Nobody here is scoring a ton of points. You know, everybody still scores. Everybody still scores here. It's still a lot of points being scored. Have you seen what Tennessee's done to some people? Like, this Vols offense, this is horrifying. What could happen here? They're going to make a lot of people look really bad next season. Now, the close games are the ones I worry about, because I don't know what Butch Jones is going to do. Like, I haven't the foggiest idea. But there are going to be some games against really good teams, and the Vols are going to make some folks look bad. Just the things that you're hearing out of spring practice and the way that they ended their season, they're going to make some people look awful. And it's all the rule changes. You just take advantage of it, and you've got a guy like Josh Dobbs who can really throw the ball down the field, you know, when they allow him to do that. Take advantage of that. they can really put up some points. I like those changes in college football. I know a lot of people don't. It's, they're saying it's like touch football. It isn't. It isn't. I've played touch football and I've played flag football. I've never played collision football because I've watched collision football. That looks scary. I'll see you behind the microphone. Thanks. But people still play defense, but the rules obviously are geared more towards offense. I like that change. And the changes are that, quarterbacks don't have to be as complex coming out of college as they used to, which is in effect affecting the NFL, which is why, you come back around to what teams are doing, which is that you're jumping up and you're taking a quarterback that's not ready to go day one. But you think he's got a high ceiling. If you think he's got a high ceiling, then go up and take him. Like all the things about Jared Goff. That's coachable stuff, except for his hands, which everyone's like, oh, he's got small hands. His hands are like the same size of Tony Romo's hands. It doesn't seem to bother Romo very much. Romo is not fumbling, and he's not throwing interceptions because he's got small hands. He's throwing interceptions because he's kind of a gunslinger. It's just what they do. He's shooting from the hip, and sometimes you throw picks. So, that's how it goes sometimes. And another news story to get to really quickly. We're coming up to the end of the show, but I did want to talk about it because Tubby Smith used to be the head coach of Kentucky, if you recall. He is now back in the state of Tennessee coaching at Memphis. He's accepted the Memphis job. Tubby Smith was at Minnesota for the longest time. I like Tubby Smith a lot. I think he's a very good coach. And he's one of these guys. And that's actually funny because John Calipari used to coach at Memphis, and now he's at Kentucky, and now he's been replaced by the man that he replaced. Even though all of his Memphis wins were obviously vacated because sketchiness. John Calipari, ladies and gentlemen. But Tubby Smith, I really like him a lot. I think that basketball team needed somebody grounded and with a lot of experience at that head coaching position. I think Tubby Smith is going to be a guy that can bring that. He's done a lot. He did a lot of up in Minnesota. I just don't think there's a lot of basketball talent up in Minnesota, and I don't think it's very easy to recruit people to go up to Minnesota. Like, it's not a flashy school. It's in a cold state. You just can't convince people to go up there. I think he did the best with what he had, but now that he's back down in the South and closer to the East, you're going to have an opportunity to get some guys who are going to be really good for your basketball team, provided, obviously, John Calipari doesn't come in and take your take whoever it is that you're going after, because that's just what he does, because he's a terrible person like that. Through sketchy means, John Calipari. Okay, I think I was listening to Bomani Jones' show the other day. He's got his own podcast, The Evening Jones, and he was talking about getting John Calipari in college football, because if you think that college football teams work around the NCAA, you think college football teams now ignore the rules. Imagine John Calipari in college football. He would cheat so much. Thanks, everybody. You've been listening to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. That's me. Remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Stay clutch, and I'll see you in 24 hours.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240. Shake, shake, shake it at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. The most delicious and unique milkshakes. How about this for delicious and different? Add freshly cooked bacon to any milkshake.
Is that even legal?
You bet your milkshake and booty it is. Chocolate caramel bacon shake. Coffee caramel shake.